salads too. It cooks up quickly. It is one of the few grains that does have all of the amino acids in it. And she was mentioning something about rinsing. Okay, quinoa, when it's grown, has what they call saponin around it. It's kind of a waxy coating. And that needs, it's very bitter, and it needs to be removed before you eat it. Luckily for us, pretty much, they have removed the saponin from it. But it's still a good idea before you eat quinoa to rinse it really good before you eat it. So
how do you rinse it? Because you can't put it in your colander.
I have a strainer.
Oh, a fine mesh strainer.
A fine mesh strainer.
It's really fun. It's like that Lee's hand. Is it like stacks up? And it was very fun to play with.
Okay.
It's milder than vanilla in flavor to me, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think?
It's really
Well, just a little bit different. Okay, this is getting more available. It's getting to be more popular around. In fact, you can find it at Costco in bags like this. It's 4 pounds. I think it's $10 or $13 or something like that.
Is that the best price around?
Huh?
Is that the best price around at Costco?
No. Well, I don't.
It's a decent price.
It's a decent price. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but.
It doesn't store really long, probably just a couple years.
Freezer usually.
Yeah, but if you're storing it oxygen free, it's going to last longer.
So it doesn't need to be fridge.
I don't think so.
Usually,
What did I put on here? Yeah, this is 9 months. I put down that it's 9 months is stored properly at room temperature. So if you put it in the fridge or the freezer, it's going to last a little longer. Okay, rice. Okay, all rice starts out brown, and then this is what it looks like when they're done messing with it and they take out all the nutrition. So it's really a hard thing. They tell us that we should store rice. Rice will be great. It will give us great energy, but it's not going to give us any nutrition. So you need to make sure that if you're going to store white rice, that you're also storing something else that's going to give you the nutrition that you need. Brown rice, I love. We're going to cook. How many of you guys? Is there anybody who has never tried brown rice before? You guys all have. For the longest time, I had never tasted brown rice until I started writing about nutrition and started cooking it. So we'll have some brown rice too. We're going to do some rice and beans. We'll let you try it with some millet, some quinoa, some rice if you want, whatever you want to do. Okay, but the brown rice just does not store as long. So that's the downside. The trick is, or the best thing to do is for all these things that don't store as long, you just need to use them, rotate them, and you don't have to worry about it.
I read an article the other day from us that said white rice actually raises your blood sugar faster than sugar, table sugar.
What does?
And
Well,
white flour and white flour.
Yeah.
It has to pull from your body to digest it and to deal with it.
But it makes the prettiest rice.
Yeah.
In Walmart, I saw, in the food storage section, they had, I think it was nitrogen packed brown rice. And I called them and I said, doesn't this go rancid? And they said, no, it'll sell. I think they said it would store for 25 years. So, I don't know.
That doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I think things, as long as you store them the best way that you can, they'll last longer. Okay, wild rice. This stuff, it really isn't food storage, but something you'll probably see and you're all familiar with. This grain is very, very expensive. It's like $10 a pound. But it adds a lot of character to a lot of the foods you eat. It has great nutrition, and this stuff will last indefinitely. And it's just, anyway. So, not your best food storage choice, but kind of fun to have to add to some brown rice or whatever. Soups, different things like that on occasions. Okay. Rye, I think you're all familiar with rye because of rye bread. It has a little bit of a distinctive taste. It doesn't quite have as much gluten in it, so rye breads are generally a little bit denser. But it's good. You can use it almost just every way that you can use wheat. I think this one would be good to put together with a bunch of other grains for a multi-grain breakfast cereal or something else. Lots of things that you can do with that. Okay, spelt is also an ancient wheat, similar to kamut. It is also going to be a little bit more expensive, but if you are gluten intolerant, this is something that you may be able to use. Okay, the last grain that I've got is, I didn't get any of. a man-made grain. They took rye and they took durum wheat and crossed them, and they came up with this. It's higher in protein than wheat, but it doesn't have quite as much gluten either, and just has some different nutritional properties as well. So that's also another possible.
So is that considered genetically modified since it's a cross?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
So where do you find it? I have never been able to find it.
You can get it from Walton, and you can probably get it.
I've gotten it at the store in like the Bob's Red Mill.
Oh, there you go. Bob's Red Mill. There you go. Health food stores can carry it.
I think the Kitchen Eats might have it too, but I'm not sure, and they might not carry it all the time.
Okay, so how do you decide which grains you're going to get? It's going to be personal preference, and I cannot answer that for you. But there's a couple things to consider. One's the nutrition. Two, the storage life of it. Its versatility. The amount of time it's going to cook, but that also can be changed by the way that it's prepared. Obviously, cooking wheat on the stove is going to take longer than if I were to crack it or to roll it or something, or grind it in flour. Okay, cost. That may be a big issue for you as well, as you decide what you're going to feed your family and taste. You obviously want to choose grains that your family's going to eat. But sometimes you can hide things really well and mask it with some great spices and different things like that. So, all right, let's pull it all together a little bit. How can you make these things part of your regular diet if they're not now? I wish that I could just tell you this and you could go home and you got it done, but this is just one of those things that you have to do yourself. Knowledge is information times experience. You learn about something, and you actually go home and you do it, and you're going to have knowledge, and you're going to get more comfortable, and you're going to enjoy making things and feel comfortable and be able to explore and do some different things with them. You can add grains and beans to meals that your family already knows and loves. If you make a certain soup that your family loves, you could add a few beans to them. You can hide them if you have to. I know your son came and had some beans at my house the other day.
I probably ate it.
He did. So, and I was in the other room, and he even said they were good. So
I'll have to make it.
Okay. So yeah, start with stuff that your family already knows and loves. They like pancakes, they like bread, they like soups, they like casseroles, just salads. Just throw some beans or some grains in some form into the things that they already know and love, and then you can surprise them after and say, "You know what you just had?" And then they'll get accustomed to that and say, "Oh, that wasn't so bad," and then pretty soon you could start adding them more and more. So that's one way you can do it. Okay. For people who have families that don't like beans, you are just going to have to add them a little bit, or you can grind them into flour or puree, and you can make a lot of creamy soups with beans, and they're not
I'm
going
going
to
to try writing with a good dessert or something.
Okay, and with grains, and beans, you can cook large quantities and then freeze them. Your cooked wheat or different things like that. Put them in 1 or 2 cup things and stick them in the freezer, and then when you're making a soup, you can just think, oh, I'll just add some wheat or some barley or whatever grain you have that you've already cooked up, and you can stick it in your soup, and you're good to go, and you have those kinds of things.
How do the beans come out of the freezer? Are they a little bit?
They're not like potatoes at all. And my family loves bean burritos, and so when I cook pinto beans, and if we have leftovers, I put them in the little food saver thing, and gosh, she doesn't like microwaving, but I just might pull them out of the freezer and stick them in the fridge during the day, and then at night I just microwave them, and then I just cut the corner off and squish them into the tortillas for bean burritos, and
That's
it's
great.
the easiest.
I like easy. Okay. Getting some good books. Tammy has done this wonderful. She hates this, but she has done this wonderful cookbook, and this is a really great way to incorporate some food storage items into